Send me
I guess
to
you could
my
call it a prearranged relationship, since neither of us ever really agreed on it to
yes,
my knowledge.
yes, yes.
But I love her though, and I think she
I
loves
gotta
me.
speak me.
But you know how relationships go. Now check it out now.
She started with the promise of perfect peaceful equality, calling me forth with liberty, justice, honor, and honesty. Probably the reason you get sucked on me if improperly addressing she in my presence, blind with pride, just live the dream. Made to believe the deviation from her plan would lead to the devastation.
Send me to
Yo,
my
what's
grave.
good? I want to tell you about this little lady in my life.
Send me
I guess
to
you could
my
call it a
grave.
prearranged relationship, since neither of us ever really agreed on it to my knowledge.
Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm gymkhanajosh. Welcome to Beyond the Apex, where we talk motorcycle, everything, and then some. Tonight, I got a special guest with me. So special that her nickname is Special K, the Special K Racer. We've met down at Jennings. We're met at New York Safety Track. She's living in Jersey right now, so she's all up and down the East Coast. And a racer, working in the medical field. We'll touch on all these stuff in our conversation. But without further ado, let me introduce my guest, Jessica, the Special K Racer. How you doing, Jessica?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you for agreeing to join me on the show. I've been trying to get you on here for months. I think I like first mentioned it to you back in February, and finally it gets to happen. So thank you.
You got it. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean you're a busy woman apparently, because
Yes,
what you said the other night you're 11 track days this month.
I believe so.
You
Yeah.
not
I have
all
11 on the calendar so far
that
for this month.
that's impressive. I don't. That's probably rivaling how much I have total in my track day experience. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. How do you find the time to even hit the track that often?
Well, I've kind of worked really hard in my career to set it up so that I don't work in the summertime.
Mm,
So I've had to make some sacrifices, but it's worked out, I guess, to my benefit that I can go to the track as much as I do. So
yeah. So for those that don't know, I said in the beginning, you work in the medical field. Most people that work in the medical field have crazy hours. They work all the time. They don't have a set schedule. You must have done something right. That's for sure.
it's I put in a lot of hard work in the hospital for years and made sacrifices with my daughter. So for me now, the way things are set up, like you have to take the good with the bad. So you get some, you give some. So I could be making probably a lot more money than I do right now, but to have these like 2 months off is way better for me to go
Yeah.
riding and enjoy my time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in addition to that, you must be doing something else really well too, just to budget your time properly. Because I don't even know how I could fit, even working for a track day organization. I still don't know how I could fit in 11 track days within this calendar year. We're not even halfway through it, so that's really impressive.
I owe that to my sorority from when I was in college. You know, time management is key. Also, like if you work in a hospital or a medical setting, you really have to schedule yourself. I'm such a nerd. I have like a giant paper planner.
That
So when I get the track day schedules for like the year, I wrote out all of NYST,
mm,
NJMP. I looked at Motor Girl, CCS, everybody. So
ah
it,
okay.
it gives me a visual of what my time looks like, and that helps me manage it a lot better, actually.
So that's one thing I wanted you to kind of elaborate on too, because I know you participate with other groups. You go to a lot of different places. Like, uh, what's kind of your background in the track experience up to this point? Like different organizations and different places you've been.
Well, I started, I'm going to say in 2017, I went to New Jersey Motorsports Park for the first time just as like a visitor. I went to go watch some people that I rode on the street with, and um, they, it was awesome. I was like hooked just going there. I was so sad I didn't have my motorcycle. I was like, I need to ride right now. But there was a lot of things I didn't know that I needed to be able to go on the track. So I went one time, I think that summer. And then the next summer, I did like 2 days because I was going with other people. I didn't have a car that could tow at the time. I didn't have, a trailer. Um, So I was really dependent on other people and their schedules to be able to get down there. But then by last summer, I already had gotten an SUV and was renting U-Haul trailers all the time. So last summer I got a trailer also. So now I can kind of go wherever I want to go and not have to be dependent on anybody else. And that's a big thing for me. I like to have like my own paddock. Like you see my pit space
Yeah.
when I go
Hmm.
up there. Like I like to have my own space. Keeps my head right, keeps my vibe right. So I can go enjoy other people and come back and hang out in my space too. So I like to be able to do that. And I think 2 summers ago I did like 18 track days. I have no idea how many I did last summer. I stopped counting. So this year I have like 29 on my calendar for
Dang,
strength, like
29.
nine private days. So that's just the member days at NYST this year of a New York Safety track.
God. So when did you actually start racing? Because you're a CCS racer currently, right?
I got my CCS license last summer. I didn't renew it this year because I wanted to take the summer off. I got really into the idea of trying to race competitively. I found out about Moto Girl, which is a race that's run just for women out of CCS. So I was told I'm just racing women, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm down for that. So I drove to NC Bike for a weekend. I rode 2 days out there. I got my race license. I did 2 races at NJMP last summer, but I'm not racing this year. I want to try to. I got an R6. Previously, I had like a Gixxer 1000. I've been riding Gixxers for like 13 years. And then the Gixxer is a different kind of
You're a
bike.
fan. You're a fan.
I'm a Suzuki girl.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Currently, I have the R6. It is fully race built, but I'm not really a mechanic kind of person. So when I got it from the other person that had it, I didn't realize I had to like change the suspension on it for my
Mm,
weight,
mm.
for my riding ability. So there was a lot of things that I was fighting with the bike. And as I'm trying to explain to coaches or explain to people like, hey, it's not working well for me,
Mhm.
they're just like, oh, it's you, it's not the bike.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
that's
you, it's not.
honestly. I mean, I can kind of understand where people come from when they say that because 9 times out of 10, it's something that the person's doing. It's not, equipment malfunction, but bike
Yeah.
setup is a big part of it. Like that's definitely a number one thing. If you don't have that right, the rest of it's not going to work
And
out.
I couldn't articulate exactly in their minds what they thought I needed to say to explain what was happening.
Mhm.
So yeah, I had to change the rear suspension, the front internals. I had no like stabilizer bar on it, a lot of things. So like if you can't compress a rear shock, you're not making any contact patch with the ground. So when I say, "Hey, I feel like the rear is sliding around on ice,"
Mhm.
they're like, "No, it's you. It's not the bike." Okay. I rode motorcycles for like 14 years at that point. I can
Yeah.
tell you, sliding around.
Uh,
I'm like fighting a bear on a chain on the track, and everyone's like, "It's just you. You don't know what you're doing." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah,
Now
that's a lot of
I'm on
people.
it. Yeah, now it's a lot better. So
Actually, well, so the last time I was at New York Safety, again, I'm not making excuses for myself. I definitely like out the gate was trying to go a little bit too hot around. It turns out later in the day, I still even after I went down turn one, first session, first lap, New York Safety. Um, but turns out even midday, it still was just not feeling right. Like it just wasn't responsive. This is my street bike that I brought out there. It wasn't my track bike that I had. And I went to Redneck Charlie, and he was like, trying to compress my front suspension. Couldn't do it. Like tried to get me to bounce on it while it was on the stands. Wasn't bouncing. And he's like, dude, like your suspension is all the way tight. Like I'm maybe like 180 pounds ish.
mhm.
This bike right here is set up for somebody that's like 250 pounds plus. There's no way this bike's gonna handle the way it needs to handle with you on it.
Yeah,
So not saying that was the reason I went down, but it does make a huge difference. And after he
it does.
loosened it up as much as he could, it did feel a lot different, a lot better. But
Mhm.
I'm still not bringing that bike back out to the track. That's for sure. But
I don't blame
yeah.
you.
So in your time as a CCS racer, like how do you feel like you did against the others in your class?
um, Last summer
You said you didn't do that many races though, right?
I only did two
Okay,
races.
okay.
I was gonna also do Summit Point. Unfortunately, I had gotten really bad heat exhaustion at NJMP doing like three back-to-back track days.
Mm.
So I was like puking my brains out, super dehydrated. I tried to come home and rest and then drive down to West Virginia and
Mm.
like I ended up like my friends were like, you cannot go back and ride. I got like spots. I can't. I'm all dizzy. I'm throwing up. They're like, you have to go and just relax.
Yeah.
So glad I didn't ride. It was kind of a difficult one. I ended up in the ER. So um, racing Moto Girl was a little bit scary because we weren't just on the track. Like what I was told originally was that we're just going to be girls on track
Mm.
together, and I was like, okay, 6, 10 girls maybe. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. No, we were put in a 600 to a 1,000 group class, so 600 bikes and 1,000s, which is kind of like not fair as it is.
Yeah.
But then we're at like the back, the last like wave of the 1,000 super bikes. So most of these guys are like pro white plate CCS racers.
Really?
And then me and like 4 to 6 other girls in the last wave. Yeah, they're on 1,000s, and I was like, oh damn. So yeah,
And
it's
is that New
little
Jersey?
at every track. That's how it's set up.
Um,
It's how CCS has it set up.
hmm.
I know some people complained about it. They didn't think it was safe. All I can say is that if you're going to do it, you just have to make sure you maintain your line and don't get scared if you get buzzed because those guys are coming fast and I'm not that fast.
Right.
So it was it was definitely I almost pooped my pants. A couple times.
Oh, don't do
But
that in the tracksuit.
I gotta do it. Though.
No.
No, but it's.
I would just hate the
it
walk
was
of shame to the.
intense, and like
well,
now I don't.
I would just hate the walk of shame to the bathroom after you come off track. Disgusting, disgusting, Jessica.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Oh, I'm sorry.
But yeah, so aside from pooping in your tracksuit, how about your other experiences with CCS?
Everyone who works with CCS and with Motor Girl was really great. I think in comparison to the other competitors, like I said, I was definitely disappointed with my performance on the R6. Like it really has been a struggle for me to learn the bike. Like now that's why I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take the year off, change some skills up. Like I never rode on a Yamaha on a track before like that. So it was really difficult. It's been like a learning experience altogether, just that bike. The riding position alone as a female, I feel is kind of like counterproductive for our center of gravity. I try to
Really?
explain this to guys. Like women's center of gravity is like your center of gravity is up here on your chest and like mine's in my pelvis. So for my center of gravity to be up and behind me is kind of like hard for your balance, you know?
Actually, I'm kind of blessed. I got some weight down and back too. You know what I'm saying? So it's not all up in my chest.
you're gonna teach everybody.
Well, so actually, I've heard that about the R6 before. Like uniquely to the R6. I've never actually ridden an R6, so I couldn't say for sure that I know what you're talking about. Oh, is that the big baby right there?
I'm sorry. Yeah, he's gonna start barking at me. Let me grab him really fast.
Oh, go for it.
Like, he's gonna scream at me. I have to take him to the vet today.
Yo, for anybody at home that hasn't seen Jessica's dog at the track, he is like this monstrous black, beautiful dog. But I saw him playing with the little what are they called? The Frenchies at the drivers meeting or the riders meeting one morning. It was so cool. Like this big dog is just pouncing around and having fun playing with the Frenchies. It was a it was a funny little scene.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
So
What's your dog's name?
Orion.
Orion. Powerful.
He's the big boy. But I definitely feel like I could have done a little bit better. I was a little disappointed in myself and how that went. I don't think I was really prepared as much as I could have been for my first race. But you know, you just kind of go out there and do what you got to do. So
Yeah.
if I want to do it, I wasn't gonna let that stop me. might be nervous or, you know, anything like that. I wanted to go.
What's up, Orion?
Hey guys, attention now. Orion has joined the conversation now.
Yeah, for real.
He's a lap dog at 120 pounds.
Yeah.
So he, you know, I learned a lot from the experience. I wouldn't change it. I did get a lot of pushback, honestly, from some of the guys who race CCS. They're not exactly encouraging for the women in the field.
Really?
Yeah. We're not running, like I said, as fast as they are, and we're out on the track with them. So it creates unfair advantages sometimes or disadvantages to certain people because we're on the race line. And I don't fault them for that, but some of the way that some of the guys have kind of personally come and tried to attack myself or some of the other ladies who race CCS online on Facebook or on Instagram. I don't know. I just thought we're all about like having a good time. I get that it gets competitive. I was a competitive swimmer most of my life. I played a lot of sports growing up, and
You know, so that actually really sucks to hear though, because well, that really sucks to hear. Obviously, I'm not in the same position as you, and actually, I don't even, I'm not a racer. I don't go out to the CCS races at all anyway. But maybe it's more just due to the fact that it is like a race environment. They're a little bit more competitive, and they feel like they have the need to like talk smack or talk to you in a certain way. But even still, that doesn't jive with me. That's not cool at all.
I mean, I wish everyone felt like that. I guess it's definitely a guy's sport.
I wouldn't say
Male
that.
dominated. Well, it's male dominated.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
So getting into that as a woman can be very tricky. A lot of people, I didn't know really anything about this when I got into it. I just rode street bikes, squidded for a long time, and enjoyed myself on the road until I found this. People can take advantage of you if you're not familiar with how much things cost or what they should cost or how to go about things and getting the right kind of help. Everyone wants to be like, oh yeah, I'm trying to look out for you. I'm trying to do the right thing, but is it for the right reasons?
Yeah. I found that. Oh, not even. Well, a lot of people have ulterior motives. Or alternative motives, whatever. Yeah, in general.
It's just not riding, but this is an expensive hobby. It's an expensive sport, so the taking advantage of can come in great ways.
Expense. Yeah.
Great expense to people.
What's your favorite track experience? Like maybe like favorite track you've been to for your overall enjoyment, and then just like your best track day or race or whatever.
I would say I really liked NC Bike, honestly. It's very open. You can kind of like see almost like the whole track. It's not a New York safety track. As you know, it's like very woodsy. You can't really see around a lot of things. Everything down there is just like way open. There's no trees in the middle. You can see the whole track, which I really liked. And it was kind of fast and it was really fun. So I had a great weekend when I went down there. Everyone was really nice.
I haven't been to NC Bike yet.
It was a really good time. It was really nice.
So how did that?
A little buggy, but
How'd that compare to Jennings, in your opinion? Because I mean, Jennings, it was pretty open too. It was kind of higher speed.
Yeah, it's like a shorter track. Like you can really, it's like sprawling at NC Bike. Like you really can see like the entire thing. How as at Jennings, in the middle over there was the paddock, right?
Yeah.
And there's stuff in the middle. You can't see the whole way through. So over there, you can literally see the entire race course like out in front of you.
Okay, I got you.
Like if you stood in one place, you can look and see almost the whole thing. And that's I don't know. I liked it. It was easier, I guess, to look through turns when you can see more.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know how to put it.
No, that makes sense. Actually, you don't feel like you're so. Actually, I know exactly what you're saying, because when I'm at New York Safety and I'm like looking through a turn, just to even have like the trees right there, on both sides, it kind of, yeah, I feel like I'm kind of like restricted as to like how far I can actually see through the turn. So I feel you on that, and maybe it's a subconscious thing, but well, it is definitely a subconscious thing, but I do like to have a more open track as well. The New Jersey Motorsports Park was the first one, the first track I ever put tires on, and I actually loved that experience. And I mean, I actually did really well out there for my first time out there, and I was actually within two when I did that. But I just love the higher speed. It's not as open as Jennings was, but like I just love New Jersey too. That was a great track.
Yeah, I
Um,
do, and I enjoy Jersey. I rode there for a long time. I just decided to switch it up this year and get
what's
some
your
more.
what's your favorite like track experience? Like you went out and it was just like the people, the coaches, the weather, the track, the everything just came together and like, or even like the best after party. You know, whatever it is that makes the track experience great for you. What was the best one you had?
I would say I'm I enjoy socializing after, but the party for me is not really the aspect because, like I said, I've been an athlete before, and like I'm not really a big drinker,
Mm.
so I try not to engage in that kind of stuff like too much at the track. Like I don't want to be hungover. I want to be in the right place. Like I hydrate for like days before I go to the track, just so I don't get dehydrated and get sick from riding.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably have to say this past Memorial Day, that Monday. So the whole weekend we were up at New York Safety Track, but it was like 40 degrees and raining. It was like
Uh,
not nice the entire time. But then that Monday I went back up there and I got up a little bit later in the morning. I had to drop my daughter off in Jersey and I went back up and like it was like 78 degrees,
wait,
sunny,
wait, wait. So you
um,
left on Sunday, went back
on
home,
Sunday.
dropped your
Yeah,
daughter off on
dropped her off
Monday, and then
in the
went
morning.
back to New York Safety the same. That's
Yeah.
that's dedication right there. That's rough.
I wanted to ride my motorcycle.
Yeah,
Well, listen, in life, you must sacrifice to get the things that you want.
this is true.
So driving is not a big deal for me. I'm just like, oh, okay, get in the car, let's go.
Yeah.
Throw the dog in the back. No. um, but actually, there's a coach. We call him Noodles. He just actually left New York Safety Track. He moved uh, somewhere else, but he helped me fix a huge issue I was having on the R6. And in like one conversation, and I went out that day and literally rode and like ripped it.
Mm,
And I was having so much fun up there. And I've been having a lot of pain in my arms to the point where I actually went to see, especially like physical therapist
mm.
because of the weight, and I was riding the bike for so much and I was putting so much pressure on my arms. I was getting not just arm pump, but like my whole hand would like cramp
Mm.
like on the gas and the brake, and it's
Yeah,
excruciating.
yeah,
So at Jennings, I would have to come off track just to pull in because my whole hand is like cramped on the gas and the brake at the same time. Like that's super dangerous.
yeah.
Um, so in one conversation, he like helped me fix that issue
What was it? Was
completely.
it your body positioning or something else?
No, it's the placement of the bar ends on my hand,
Hmm.
like where I was putting it.
Where? Like,
Like my,
what are you talking about?
like now, I guess I had it like too far up. Now it's like literally like the bar end is like literally just there.
Huh.
That's it. Like that's the only part that's my hands on.
And your hand is basically like hanging off the end of the bars.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the pressure point is there's no pain or anything like in my arm now. So
Wow, it's amazing. What
yeah,
like kind of a little trick.
just one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause he was like, "Oh yeah, I can fix that for you," and I was like, "Excuse me."
Hmm.
Like what? What? Yeah.
See these little
So
little nuggets of information. These are beautiful for some people because I bet you somebody out there that's watching this, or that's going to be watching this, is probably feeling the same thing. And they're like, "Man, I
yeah,
don't know what to do. It's just painful being at the track." Well, Special K just fixed it for you right there. You need to change the position of
moving
those
hands
hands.
first.
Yeah, that's good
Yeah,
stuff.
right. My head was like
Mind blown.
explosion. Exactly. It was crazy, but yeah, I definitely what we were talking about before with like CCS. I think that it's just some of the I don't know. I think people should be a little more supportive.
Mm,
So I actually had someone come up to me and just be like, my friend was with me, and she was kind of like, "Well, what do you want Jess to do? Like, should she like work on her core? Should she fix her body positioning? Should she just like stop riding motorcycles?" And she said like the last part as a joke, and he was like, "Yeah, she should just stop riding." then I was like, wow, guys, like I cried. I didn't. The track did not. It was not enjoyable at the end of the season for me last year, and like I almost stopped riding.
Damn.
Um,
See,
and that's why I like a change of venue also. And I'm glad that I met the people that I met at Jennings because like now I've changed a lot of the things that I'm doing on the bike, and I'm doing so much better.
yeah. See, I think maybe another reason why it's not. I'm not gonna say that it comes as a shock that you say this, but it is kind of a shock to me. But it's because the people that I've been associating with and the events that I've been going to, like certified, like that's a family,
Yeah.
environment. Like everybody's accepted, and like there are actually a lot of females that go out to these events. And yeah, it's not a race event, but like it's just so welcoming, and the after parties and the I don't know, it's just like a much different
There's
experience.
something for everyone.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And they're very welcoming. Everyone is certified. It's great. I even did the Reckless Warzone series. I didn't race, but I went up for that weekend. That was a nice weekend also. So a lot of people put that effort into the private events, the companies that run them. This was just like a coach and a racer who was just like, yeah, you kind of suck, so you should stop.
They're haters.
But like,
Hater talk.
yeah,
They're
I
scared
mean,
of you.
he is a good rider. He's a fast guy. I'm not gonna, you know, detract away from his skills because he is very good. But like everyone is different. So like that just kind of pushed me to be like, you know what? I'm gonna get really good and then come back and show you that you're wrong.
Right.
Like you just gave me
Fuel.
the push to like do better.
Yeah.
So okay.
I like that.
And my hairdresser said that like the red fire hair adds 5 horsepower.
And if the hairdresser said it, it must be true.
You're welcome.
Before we actually came on tonight, before we came on the show tonight, Jessica was getting her hair did and getting everything ready. Not for the show. She wasn't getting all ready for the show, but
Not for the- but yes,
but that's cool.
it adds horsepower.
That's good. I like it. Hold on a sec. What was the other thing? You threw me off. The hair threw me off. Oh, well, yeah. What's coming up for you? Like, what's coming up as far as events? Because you said you had 29 scheduled. You got 11 already down this month. Like, what's on the horizon for you?
So I bought a season's membership at NYST this year. Like I said, I'm really enjoy working with their coaches. They've been really helpful. And so I'm doing a lot of their member days. I also have the Reckless Warzone series again in August I'm doing. I'm just gonna stay up there really and like put in a lot of work.
Right on.
It's easier for me to do that in one place with consistent coaching than trying to go to different tracks. I really enjoyed it last year traveling to the different tracks, and I'll do it again. Just financially and time wise, this was the same distance as NJMP, and I wanted to step up my game with coaching, and the guys at New York CT Track really have done that for me. They're really putting an effort and time to help me get better, not just being like, oh, I ran out on the track and I grabbed you for a lap. You could be having a bad lap. Like a coach just comes and like taps their tail at some other tracks and like, oh, okay, and then you get no feedback because you don't see him again because there's 100 other people there.
Yeah. Damn.
Up here they'll come and they like pull in right away with me and they're like, all right, this is what we're talking about. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna try it again. So
I understand 100% what you're talking about. Actually, the first thing you were mentioning about sticking to one track and just kind of like doing that thing, I'm 100% on that same level at this point. I'm not I know it's hard to believe, gymkhanajosh, but I'm not an expert rider. I'm not an expert racer or anything like that. I still am developing basic skills and like trying to practice the fundamentals going out there on the track. I feel like going to Jennings, going to New Jersey Motorsports Park, going to NYST, like all back to back, and not really getting not having enough time on track to like really know everything on the nuances about the track. It throws me off just in itself because I'm so worried about learning the track and remembering what's coming up and like the lines that I'll be halfway through a lap and I'll forget like, oh, like my feet are totally in the wrong place, or like, oh my God, my hands are not even, in the right place on my bars, or I'm not looking through the turns or whatever. It's just like I catch myself, and then by the time I really get that rhythm down and get feeling like I'm smooth and steady and fast, then it's like, okay, track weekend over. Next time,
Yeah,
next month,
it's done.
we're going somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I
Well, that's why I wrote it New Jersey as long as I did because I really wanted to like put the time into. So for me as a learner, I have to repeat things.
mm,
Even when I was in school, I would go sit in class, listen, literally take notes as the professor teaches, and then go home and like rewrite my entire notebook.
yeah.
So for me to do it, I have to do it over and over and over again for it really to stick. And I wanted to work on my skill level so that when I want to go back and drive around to different tracks, because a lot of people are like, oh, well, if you can ride one place, you're like a one trick horse. You know what I mean? But that's
Yeah.
not true. Safety track has off camber turns, has elevation changes. They run uptown, they run downtown, so they got lefts, they got rights, all of those things. Um, a lot of the like as you saw at Jennings is a much flatter track.
mm,
It's fast, it's short, it's flat. Um, so at New York Safety Track, you can't compare Jennings and New York Safety Track.
Yeah.
The level of skill that's required to ride there is much different. Um, Even as a street rider, going from riding on the highway just straight, and then you go up in the twisties in the mountains,
Yeah.
or go to California and ride in the canyons, you know, it's completely different. It's not the same kind of riding skills. So,
I feel you on that. And actually, I've heard that before too. I've said that same mentality to people, and they're like, "Oh man, but it shouldn't matter if you're working on the fundamentals, you can use the fundamentals anywhere." And I'm like, "Yeah, that is
yeah,
true. There is truth to that. But if I'm not worried about the track, and that's just like another level of comfort that I don't even have to worry about. I would rather just be
exactly.
that guy that just has to. I just want to
Yep,
focus on me and the fundamentals and being faster.
exactly.
So
Mhm. And for myself, like I didn't rush to get. I know a lot of guys want to be like so fast. I just say guys. When I say guys, I'm meaning people who ride on the track.
give me
My
guys.
word. So a lot of people want to get out there and like really go balls to the wall right away. And like I was in no rush to bump out of the novice group.
Mm,
Actually, I spent a lot of time there, like practicing passing people to be safe. And because intermediate, you got the guys who just come out of novice who want to be fast, and then you got the fast guys who are trying to get into expert.
mm.
There's like this big variable gap of ability.
It depends on the
Everybody's
day too. It depends on the day, the weekend, the month, the year.
people,
Yeah.
what track you're at, who's running it. So like, but if it's consistent people, like so when I go to New York Safety Track for like a member day, those are all season members,
Mm,
most of them.
mm.
So a lot of the people I ride with, I already get to know them. Like, oh, okay, I can pass this person here. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I
So,
got you.
um, it's it's not a bad thing, but
I need to
I
get
tried
that
to I tried to
consistency.
I tried to not get out of novice so fast. I was like, no, I'm gonna stay here and work on some things.
That's actually a
And I
really
would
good
work on
point.
different sections of the track because let's say I just want to work into my braking on turn one, right? So if I'm at NJMP, I know the track, I know where I have to turn in. I can just go in the novice group and really like rip it and then practice working on turn one over and over and over again for like the whole session.
Mhm.
And I bought
That's a good way to put it.
what's it called, track maps. I found
Is this
track
like
maps online.
on your phone?
I found no, they're paper.
Oh,
So
wow. Paper
yeah, back to
maps?
the book.
They make those still?
Yes, they make old papers.
That's
Yeah, I know, right? Same thing. So they're like paper maps. I bought New Jersey, both of them in Jersey, NYST, NC Bike, and Summit Point because those are the ones I've rode.
mm,
And now having it at NYST, it actually really helps me to have like my own map and come back to my pit and be like, okay. And I look at this section, I'm like, I can definitely come out further here.
mm.
And I can make like a pencil mark or a pen mark in it, and I can make my own notes so I know how I progress as I go along for the season.
Oh my God. So for the people at home that are watching, this is a great practice. Like most of the coaches will tell you if they don't pull you to the side and talk to you anyway, but coming off the track, you should be able to look back at what you just did and what you just felt and what you experienced and be able to like recognize how to be better, how to be, smoother or do things differently to make your ride better or make your lap times faster or whatever you're shooting for. But I was just talking to Jose Trackstars not too long ago about this actually, and like I need to get back to that because it's been a long time since I've actually had like personal track growth on top of not being comfortable with bouncing around all these different tracks. Now when I go out to the track, I'm so worried about recording and capturing photographs and interviews and all this other stuff that like by the time I get off the track, I'm like trying to run over to like catch the raffle or do all these other things. I lost that. I need to get back to that.
Yeah, the track is like a therapy for me almost. That's why I said I like to have like my own space in the pit. I want to keep my mind right. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I first started riding, it was kind of just like an oh shit moment the entire time. Like,
just holding on for dear life.
like I panic attack breathing through my mouth, not being conscientious of anything until I got myself relaxed.
Yeah.
That's a big thing that a lot of people don't. I think everyone wants to be fast on the track, right? Everyone wants to be like that track star. Everyone wants to drag elbow for the gram and
Yeah.
So, it's all about the clout for some people, but like
I dragged elbow. I dragged elbow last time I was up there, but it's a little bit different than what I wanted.
your elbow, maybe.
Yeah, I drag. Yeah. Oh dang! I thought more body parts. I drag elbows, knees, frame sliders, everything.
That's the
Yeah.
worst frame slide.
Well, it saved the bike actually. Yeah.
Usually they get caught in the grass. Like if you go to New Jersey and you dump your bike because it doesn't have a lot of like grass up at NYST, so you're kind of lucky.
Yeah.
It'll,
I wasn't even going that fast.
and then it just goes and like flips the whole motorcycle and just ruins it. And you're like, ugh.
See, I wasn't even going that fast. I just had cold tires right out the gate. I was just low speed, dipped it in way too
Because
deep.
you weren't focusing on yourself. You were focusing on everybody.
You
else.
are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. As they were letting people go, I don't know. It was kind of weird actually. They were letting people go in groups for the just like the warm up lap or whatever. And then all of a sudden they got back towards the end of the line. I was the very last person in line, and then the last like 5 people, they sent them out individually. And I was like, I want to be with the group. I want to be behind somebody to like tail them and just be behind someone. So yeah, that was the first thing I did was like, turn one, brake, look to my left to catch Justin in front of me, and then the bike's gone. That's it, gone.
You're like, goodbye.
Yeah, yep. I was like,
Nice to see you.
yep. First lap, first session, down.
Yeah, so maybe you'll have to focus on getting a little more U time at the track and not.
That's definitely on the horizon. I think actually, I was just talking to Chachi the other day about this too. Like I feel like I need to maybe just spread myself around a little bit more too. Like I don't get me wrong, I love certified events. That's probably my number one go-to track organization. Obviously, now that I'm affiliated with them as well, but I do want to kind of go back, and I do have coaches with N2 that I miss talking to, and the times that I've been out there, I miss riding with them too. So I might end up just going back to some other organizations' events too. It's just, I don't know, spread myself around a little bit.
I mean, it's nothing personal. Like I said, I rode with Absolute Cycle, which doesn't exist anymore. I rode with N2. I rode with Evolve. I rode with some other group out of Summit Point. I'm sorry, I don't remember what their name was. It was for like the practice CCS day when I was down there. The Riders Club, obviously, NJMP, which has always been great. Charity, who runs them, is one of the best people I've met in the sport. And her being a woman and running the track day, she's always been the best, especially to the ladies. She really looks after us.
They just had an event, I think maybe last weekend, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, and they'll have CCS races, so they'll have a CCS practice day on Friday, and then the races this weekend. But like even NYSC, same thing. So, I think it's good to get different. Everyone has a different like style of riding, you could say. So their coaching is going to be different, and not everyone has the same style of teaching either, which is a big deal. So for me personally, I had to really find people who teach in a way that I can receive information from them.
That makes sense.
Because
that makes a lot of sense.
Some people just don't teach well. They'll just like do this. I'm like, okay, I don't know how you want me to do that. Like, can you be a little more specific on how you want me to achieve the end goal? Because in the field that I work in, it's very like cut and dry sometimes. Like you can either do this or you can do this. There's no like variable difference that you can do to achieve the end goal. There's only two options. So,
Right. Life or
but,
death.
you know, yeah, exactly. Yes. You want to live, you want to die.
Like Jean-Claude
but,
Van Damme, live or die. Anyways.
um, but in riding, you know, there's so many different ways to do things on so many different types of machines. And depending on your aftermarket setup or whatever else you have can really affect that. So coming from one coach, you know, nobody rode your bike. They can't tell you how it feels to ride your motorcycle, but it's different for you than would it be for them.
Mhm.
So to find somebody that can teach you well, that you can intake the information, especially I think for women, I don't really enjoy being yelled at. So like telling me I suck at it really is not going to like encourage me to do better.
I love that. Yell at me. Slap me.
It's a different podcast.
Oh man. Yo, so I
Behind
do.
the red- Gosh.
Do you still ride street? I know. Obviously, we've had the experience of meeting on the track, and you said you rode on the street before. Do you still ride street or no?
I don't.
Not at all.
I gave it. No. I have a daughter from my previous marriage, and she's 6. Um, both my parents ride, you know, cruisers on the street. Where I live in New Jersey, I'm like 25 miles outside of Manhattan. It's very busy. Every Karen is in her Escalade
Yeah.
on her cell phone with her 4.5 kids and their Labradoodle, and like I just don't want to die.
Nah, that makes sense.
Unfortunately, I've lost friends. You know, we lose people every year
Yes.
from the riding community. One of my really good friends 2 years ago lost his leg, has traumatic brain injury. He like hardly even remembers who I am.
Damn.
So, you know, it's sad that we lose people like this. And things can also happen at the track. I know everyone's like, oh, but you can get hurt at the racetrack.
Yeah, it's
I'm
different
aware I
though.
can get hurt at the racetrack, but the streets don't have an ambulance, literally an EMS sitting right there. They don't have coaches. They don't have corner workers. They don't have people who clean the track for you, pick up the oil.
The potholes, the dogs, the kids, everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A wild turkey. You never know what's going to
Yeah.
happen. So
I hear that.
I just try not to get involved in that anymore because it's fun and everyone wants to go really fast. And I can go really, really fast on the road if I'm in Mexico.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
2
yeah.
miles, but
Yeah. So actually, you were saying something earlier about the California canyons. Not that you were riding in the California canyons, but you've been out here before, right? Did you ride here in California?
I did not get a chance to ride when I was out there. One of my best friends actually lives outside of San Diego up the coastline. So I've been out there in very nice fast cars, but not on a motorcycle, unfortunately. So that's on the list of things to do for the future.
See, that's actually like not a bucket list thing for me, but I'm kind of contemplating using this ridershare.com service. I've never used it before, but I got on there the other day. I was looking at some of the like the prices for the different bikes. Obviously, I'm not getting like a S1000 double R or anything crazy for anything affordable, like not at an affordable price, but like I don't know, even just like a Honda Rebel 250. You know, it's like I can get one of those for a couple weeks for not breaking the bank.
Cruise around.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have some actually cool rental places out in San Diego to rent bikes. I saw a lot of Ducati Monsters
Really?
when I was out there. That was a few years ago already. Cruisers, but like Ducati Monsters, not like the sports bikes, like the super bikes that we ride. But you know, it's different. So I wouldn't go out there trying to like drag.
Yeah, I'm not hot rodding. I just want something cool. I just want something to ride, honestly, just to cruise around the beach or I don't even know what's out here, to be honest with you. I just want to adventure a little bit, just ride. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm out here for a purpose. I have a job to do, so we'll see what I can do.
I'm sure you'll find fun stuff.
Yeah, we'll see. I was just wondering if you'd ever experienced it out here. Have you ever done one of the rider share services at all or no?
I haven't. No.
Well, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I sold my street bike last summer.
What was that?
The
That was the
Gixxer.
Gixxer. Okay.
I had a GSXR 1000R, yeah.
Gotcha.
But it was the little overkill, I guess you could say, because I got it from a guy who used to drag it. So like, it had some interesting fast mods on it.
I totally feel you on that too, because my track bike is the 599, the Kawasaki Ninja ZX6RR, and then my street bike is the ZX10R. And talk about overkill. I live in Brooklyn. Like there is no place anywhere in Brooklyn to
Even
maximize a
yeah.
ZX10R. And even then, like I said, I'm like 180 pounds. A ZX10R is it's just too much bike. I don't need all that. There's really no need for it. I'm really contemplating. I'm in the process now of actually like fixing up the the cosmetic stuff that I messed up at New York Safety. But once that's fixed, I'm thinking about just getting rid of it and either getting a new 600 for my street bike or maybe even just keeping it track like everybody else. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safer, and I like to show my daughter that like this is where we ride our motorcycle. We can be safe. We have gear.
Mm.
You know, she got a little dirt bike that I'm teaching her how to ride
Oh
on.
snap!
So,
Next
mm-hmm.
generation rider here.
Yeah, she wants to be a motorcycle rider.
That's
So
cool. That's cool. You said she's 6 or 7.
she's 6. Yeah,
Do you ever bring her? Did you bring her to the track recently?
she was not up there at safety track for certified, but she was Memorial Day weekend, and she'll be there for like 3 days with me this weekend. We're going
That's cool.
on vacation. So 4th of July. Yeah, actually, my mom will be there too. So,
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
yeah, my mom comes and watches me ride. She thinks it's super cool. So
That's really cool too. Most of the time I hear parents are just like, "Oh my God, please be careful."
well, well, my parents were like I said, my mom,
Rider.
she's rode across the country on a
Mm.
Harley, um, so they're familiar with what the roads are like. But like, I'm not doing 70, 80 miles an hour on my 1000. So
By the way, no offense
I'm gonna
to my
be good.
parents who are probably going to see this video, but like my parents don't sound like that. They're not weird, shaky, elderly people like that. But my mom's going to be like, I don't sound like that.
Like Pinocchio's
Yeah.
parents.
Oh man.
Yeah, I just want to show like this is a safe place to do it, and hopefully encourage like younger people and other women not to be afraid to come to the track. Like, don't be afraid of the guys. None of that's gonna matter. You don't have to be fast to come to the track. That's not the point of
Mm.
it. It's to learn skills. Like the first time I went to on track school at NJMP, they're like, put the peg of your motorcycle under the ball of your foot, and I was like, what in the hell are they talking
Mm.
about? I was like, that is not. I was like, I've been doing it wrong the whole
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, I didn't know. I never read like twist of the wrist before I went to the racetrack. I was just like, oh dang, this is super awesome. I got to get into
Yeah.
this. And I had knew about it previously when I was married, but let's just say I wasn't really allowed to do that kind of stuff back then.
Mm.
So now I'm kind of just living my
Yeah,
best
you
life.
can do do your thing. Do your thing, girl.
That's what we work for, right?
Right?
To live our best life.
True. True. I'm trying to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, yeah, I think it's probably about time. We should probably start wrapping it up. Do you have anybody?
Thanks for having.
Yeah, of course. Yo, it's a pleasure talking to you. Anytime we've talked, anybody at home,
Good
you
luck.
need to look up Jessica on Instagram. It's at Special K Racer. But you got any shout outs you wanna throw out there before we get out?
I would. I sponsored by Fresh Oil and Co. If you guys like motorcycle apparel, legit, their t-shirts are so soft and they fit so nicely. All their gear is awesome. Um, Ray, who owns Fresh Oil, has been nothing but supportive of me and my riding, and definitely a motorcycle enthusiast at the core. Like they're a really great company to work with. You know, New York Safety Track this year has been awesome. I can't thank them, Greg, and all them enough, and all their coaches. They've been like super great. Even at Jennings, that's how I met them. So I haven't had people really look out for my best interest in this besides myself until I met a lot of them. So yeah, and Certified was great having me down there. Everyone's been really great.
I like it. I dig it. So let me get us out of here. Don't go anywhere just yet though. Hey, so everybody at home, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Down below this video, there's a subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon. Come back, check me out. We do this every week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 5 o'clock on Cali time for the next couple months at least. But, yeah, check out Jessica. Check out her Instagram. She's always out there. You can find her at New Jersey Motorsports Park, mostly at New York Safety Track. She said she's going to be hitting New York Safety. And as I always say, leave this world better than you found it. Peace.
Send me to
Yo,
my
what's good?
grave.
Let me tell you about this little lady in my life.
Send me
I guess you
to
could
my
call it a prearranged relationship, since neither of us ever really agreed on it
Yes,
to my knowledge.
yes, yes.
But I love her though, and I think she
I
loves
gotta
me.
speak me.
But you know how relationships go. I check